Hello YouTube, it's Lion here with Hobbies of Man once again, and today we're going to do another light novel review. Now, we're going to be reviewing The Devil's a Part-Timer Volume 2. This here is written by Satoshi Wakahara. It's illustrated by 029 or Uniku. It's published by Yenon, as you guys can see there. And the genres in this book are comedy, fantasy, and I could almost call it reverse isekai. It's not really a genre that's this is labeled with, but I think it does really encompass kind of what this book is and the common tropes that you're gonna find here. This does have an anime adaptation. If I remember correctly, it's available on Netflix, and it covers the first volume and this one. And if you guys haven't watched my review of the first volume, please go look at that before you guys watch this video. I would really appreciate it. Now, before we begin, two things. One, shout out to Reiichi, who's a new manga tuber. I found him recently, and I really enjoyed his content and the interactions that we had online, so I wanted to shout him out. So go follow him. I'll leave his channel in the description and on one of the cards. And the other shout out I want to do is to DGW YouTube, or DGWYT. I'll leave his channel link in the description down below as well, and in one of the cards. I can't remember which site it is. But yeah, and the second thing is that I'm going to try to use the new YouTube chapters feature. So if you see weird divisions at the bottom of the video, that's why. So before we get into the review, I look at 5 things. I look at plotline, characterization, world building, art, and fan service. The first 3 are kind of meant to be my objective take. The art is my opinion, and the fan service is kind of a word of warning for people that are not interested in that sort of thing in their books. And before that, I'm going to do a premise explanation, which is what I'm going to do now. So the premise here is essentially the continuation of the story, obviously. And in this one, we kind of get Mao kind of developing his personal career in McDonald's, and we get a new character that moves into the apartment complex that Mao lives in, and then we kind of see them interacting. We kind of get more character development, and in general, just more of that enjoyable kind of weird slice of life that we kind of got in the first one. And then we have a battle between fast food chains where Mao is in charge of McDonald's and this other guy is in charge of KFC, and we kind of have them have a pitched battle against each other, and it's really just ridiculous but pretty fun. Now let's get into the evaluation of the book, and let's start with the plot line here. So the plot is pretty good. It's a lot more slice of life than you would actually think. It really speaks to, you know, young people like me, you know, people in high school to like college, I think would really find this meaningful and entertaining, obviously. And we have a very loose plot line, I guess. This series is still kind of set up in a monster of a week type of situation, where you get a new character introduced, and then you get a new villain introduced, and then you kind of go through seeing what these people are, and then you get a big battle at the end. In this case, we get the introduction of a new character at the beginning. She's this like beautiful kimono wearing, like samurai princess-esque kind of character, and then we get Mao getting a promotion, kind of. And then we deal with some interpersonal problems between Mao and Chiho, and we get some specific personal problems with Shira's sickness. And then we get that pitched battle I talked about between McDonald's and Kentucky. And, you know, kind of the interpersonal problems that Mao has to face with that. And then after that, we kind of get the big climactic battle. It's all very fun and very clear, but it kind of takes a while for things to start connecting. And I mean, I enjoyed that. I kind of like the whole, here's a perspective of one character, here's a perspective of another. They're kind of having separate storylines that kind of mix and match, and then they connect. I really enjoy that sort of storytelling, but it can make it a little difficult to read. So there is that. Now let's talk about characters, and I really love the characters in this series. I've already talked about Mao and Emilia before, but Quickly, Mao is the demon lord from this other world. He gets sent to here once he gets defeated by Emmy Yusa, whose actual name is Amelia, and she comes through as well to make sure to kind of keep an eye on him. Thing is, he's not as bad as she thinks he is, and she's a lot more mean about it than she should be. So even though she's the hero and he's the bad guy, you kind of root for Mao more than you do her because she's just so mean about everything she does. And then we also have Shiria, who is Mao's loyal companion. I think that's his name. I can't remember. His like demon name is Alciel. And then we have a newer character from the previous volume, Lucifer, who goes by Urushihara. When he's living with them, he's like this young, neat programmer dude, kind of. He's just kind of like modern and very done with life, kind of. And he's also the one that has all of the young, like normal young people characteristics, where he's like disrespectful, irreverent, and just like stuck in his own little world on the computer, which, I mean, as a young person, I totally get. But yeah, he's pretty fun. He kind of becomes the butt of the jokes. And then we have Chiho, obviously. She's kind of like the love interest / the normal person of the group. And then we have a new character introduced who's Susuno. She is that sword princess kind of chick with a very old school type of feel to her. And I really enjoy her character because she's like eccentric and not necessarily funny, but just the way that she interacts with people is enjoyable to kind of watch, I guess. But overall, the characters are really fun. They're really well developed, and they all are very different from each other, and I really enjoy it. And yeah, that's it for the characters. Now, let's get into the world building. So the world building here is good. I really like that this book focused a lot on explaining the difference between people and gods, the way Entei Island functions, and the medieval, like Renaissance almost kind of setting that it has, and the strength of the church and the power that the church has over the regular folks and the countries. And it almost feels like there's a certain amount of commentary on religion. One of the characters is a part of the church, and there's a lot of speaking about the hypocrisy of it, the tendency that the church has to make others come off as evil but then do the same things. And you know, there's a lot of that sort of thing. As a non-religious person and as a person that kind of grew up in a Christian Catholic household, I kind of see where this is coming from, but I don't know if that's necessarily what the Japanese author is trying to go for, or if it's just kind of like a logical conclusion of having or of wanting this sort of organization that's supposed to be good but's actually kind of evil in a medieval world, and there's nothing there that you can have besides the church. Like, that's the only big enough, powerful enough type of group that would exist in a medieval world. So I'm not sure if that's commentary on religion or just like a weird thing that happened because of this type of story that the author wants to make. And there is a lot of commentary on perception versus reality, where Emmy is the hero, but she's like kind of the villain of this story, and Mao is the bad guy, but he's the main character, the protagonist of our story, and he's a really good person. And Emmy is kind of a good person, but she's also kind of horrible to Mao just because she hates him. And it's really interesting. Like, it talks about, if you do evil deeds but you're a good person, are you evil? And if you do good deeds but if you're a bad person, are you good? That sort of thing. And I really enjoyed kind of all of that, but it's not really that deep. It's just kind of gets your thinking going, and it makes you kind of wonder. And it's a really enjoyable experience. So the art here is really good. It's actually rather cutesy. It's very rounded, and it's not necessarily well proportioned or like realistically proportioned, but it's really enjoyable. Here, you see the expressions are really good. The art style is really cutesy, not chibi, but almost like that, and I really enjoy it now. At the first, I thought it was kind of annoying. I didn't think it really fit the slice of lifeness Not especially in the first volume, but I really do enjoy it now. And I think it really adds a lot of comedy to the situations that are described when you flip the page, and it's this really cutesy, kind of nice going expression filled art piece. And I just thought it was really fitting for the book. And then fan service, there's none, so there's no problem here. Now, my rating of this book, I really did enjoy it, but I don't think it did anything all that special, at least in the things that I look at specifically. So I'm gonna rate it a 3.5 out of 5. That's definitely above average. I would say an average is a 2 in my scale. So this is a 3.5. It's definitely above average, and it's unique enough, but it's not like amazing yet. It's not that good yet. I think the series overall will be really good once it, kind of really starts. Because it's volume 2, there's still a lot of setup and kind of exposition that has to happen before you can really get into the meat and potatoes of what this series is, right? So that's kind of my justification for my low-ish score. I do definitely recommend that you guys pick up this series. Obviously, start with volume 1. If you've already watched the anime, I would say probably start over anyways, but you could pick up volume 3 and start from there. There shouldn't be too much problem, but the books obviously just have way more information in them. And yeah, similar titles, I can't really think of any. I think maybe for the sake of the slice of life, you could say that we can compare it to Side Character, or if you want to focus on the, kind of individual trying to make his living in this new world kind of thing, you could say something like Cooking with Wild Game. But they're not really that similar, and there's not the same type of focus in those stories as there is in this one. So I can't really tell you what would be a similar title. And yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave a like. Subscribe if you're new, and comment down below, what do you guys think about Devil's a Part-Timer? Do you guys enjoy it? If you've read the light novels and watched the anime, do you think my assessment about where to start after the anime is correct? If not, please let me know why. And yeah, please check out the channels that I recommended to you guys at the beginning, Reiichi and DGWYT. Both of them are really cool people, and their channels are starting out just now, so it'd be super cool if you guys could support them and support me. And yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. See you guys later.